Hello, welcome to COS 103 Introduction to IT. My name is Dr. White, and I'll be the instructor for this course. So, when you log into your course shell in Brightspace, you land in this area here called the home page. Now, the home page has some things. One is this green bar at the top, which is called the breadcrumb trail. It's a navigational menu, and some of them are direct links like content, some of them are redundant like content and content, and some of them are menus like course resources. So that's how you navigate within the course shell. Below the banner are the widgets. So we have course modules, announcements, instructor, so on and so forth. You can modify these somewhat. Like I've minimized my announcement so it doesn't take up so much space. And you can do some similar things to yours as well. Um, so you can tell from the banner that this is my sandbox course. This is not an actual course shell that's taught. This is what I use to build the course and do some training with. So there are some things that might differ from the class that you're actually in to these videos. Just keep that in mind that this is just an example of the course. So down below course modules, which I'll do a separate video on each one of these modules, we have calendar. Now, every item within the course I provide a due date for. That's a day and a time because if this is an asynchronous online class, meaning it's fully online, um, then knowing not just the day but what time of day things are due is important. I typically make things due Sunday night at midnight, and I use 11:59 so that there's no ambiguity or confusion about when midnight is. But just so you know, midnight is the last minute of a day. So midnight on Sunday means the very last minute of Sunday before it tips over to 12:01, which would be the next day, Monday. So, as you can see, if this were a fully online asynchronous online course, we would have a asynchronous written course class discussion right in the discussion board, and that opens on January 16th, 12:01 a.m. And these dates are good for the spring 23 semester. Again, this is just an example. The dates may vary for you. And then we have some due dates. So at the end of the class period, right, which it starts on Tuesday and then it ends on Sunday. So Tuesday morning, 12:01, we kick things off. You can then work on all of these three items and make sure that they're all completed before midnight on Sunday, January 21st. Now, these three items for this particular thing happen to be an email assignment, which is the only assignment you'll email me. Every assignment is submitted via Brightspace except for this very first one because it's about email. And then we also have a typing pretest. There is a typing component to this class. It's done within a separate typing tool outside of Brightspace, and I bring those grades in from that tool into Brightspace. I'll go all into that in a separate video. And then we close out our asynchronous discussion on midnight as well. So typically I reserve Mondays for grading, and unless I am overwhelmed with either questions, advising, or meetings, I will get most of my grading done on Mondays. So keep that in mind. And the course module runs from Tuesday to Sunday. All right, so that's the calendar. You can use this to keep an eye on what is going to be due when, but I wouldn't necessarily only use the calendar. This is really just a heads up tool. We also have announcements, and I do use the announcements in the class. One of two ways typically. One is either to give some heads up information that the entire class needs to know, much as I would do in a face to face class. At the beginning of the class, I might give an announcement. I use the announcements in online classes the same way. I also use it as kind of a this is what I saw as common things last week, so keep this in mind moving forward. So I'll do the one of those two things. I don't always do it every module, more so in the beginning of the semester. Once you guys get your feet under you and know what it is I'm looking for and what I expect, then they sort of taper off. They're not as many towards the last half of the semester, but every semester is different. So the only announcement that's in the class shell right now happens to be about the typing club, but they'll build up over the semester. And then we click back on course home to get back to where we started. And that's really pretty much it for the homepage. The next video I'll talk about textbooks and resources, so stay tuned for that.